What a god-awful mockery of an event that somehow managed to find a way to devalue both combat sports and our national dignity.
This president can't stop himself from turning a national commemoration that should belong to all of us into a birthday bash fixated on his own distorted winner-take-all view of the world.
Okay, so the legacy media spent weeks focusing on the UFC fight at the White House Sunday night. Democrats even demanded that the White House condemn comments that one of the fighters made about Michelle Obama. But today there was very little coverage of another attempted assassination on Donald Trump, an attempted terrorist attack that could have killed literally hundreds of people, including the president, the vice president, members of the cabinet, Senate, Congress. I was supposed to be there on Sunday. Newsmax employees were there. My boss was there. This just keeps happening. This has become normal. Now, at least once a month, we hear about somebody new trying to kill Donald Trump, to the point where I was watching this morning and I didn't even really think about it. But here's what we know right now. 5 insane Democrats have been arrested, all with anti-Jewish views, in a plot that could involve as many as 23 people or more. They were planning to attack the UFC event at the White House Sunday. The plan was to fly drones with explosive devices attached, which would detonate over the arena, causing panic among the 4,000 spectators, who would then flee in panic. The plan then called for multiple snipers to be set up strategically around the White House to then ambush people as they ran out. Innocent people. According to the FBI Director Kash Patel, quote, the FBI stopped a potential attack at the UFC America 250 event involving individuals outside the national capital region. The attack was stopped just 4 days before the event Sunday. But think about the Las Vegas shooting in 2017. 60 people were killed at a music festival by a gunman who was shooting from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort. 85,000 people were in attendance at a watch party just outside the White House on Sunday. But the left want you to think that the people who were trying to do this were right-wing extremists. I will get to that. Chris Swecker is the former assistant director of the FBI. Mr. Director, it's great to have you on. How close were they to pulling this off?
Pretty darn close. They this whole plot started as far back as March or that time frame when some of these like-minded radicalized individuals met each other on TikTok, and gradually they added more and more people to their group till it numbered into the 20s, maybe more, and they began to plot and then divide up into subgroups, all dedicated towards anti-government, anti-Trump, anti-America ideology. So they were intent on committing mass murder in Washington, D.C. on the day of the events. So this came to light on June 10th. That was only 4 or 5 days before the event.
Right.
When the parents of this individual in Ohio called the Danville Police Department and said, you got to come to our house. Our son is going off the rails here. And they ended up taking him to a mental hospital that night. But they got some information out of him and the parents, enough to unearth other information about other individuals. They went to the FBI, and on the 11th, the FBI got engaged, and they were able to arrest 5 individuals, and I guarantee you they showed up on the doorstep of the other co-conspirators.
Great point. Thank God for that mom. If that didn't happen, who knows what happens Sunday night. I want to play you a soundbite. This is Jake Tapper just a couple hours ago on CNN. Take a look.
It appears that these suspects are right-wing extremists. The counterterrorism strategy put together by President Trump and Sebastian Gorka didn't really emphasize right-wing extremism at all. And here is yet another example of right-wing extremism.
Okay, right-wing extremists trying to kill Donald Trump. Do you buy that?
Yeah, nobody that with any reasonable, judgment would say that. I mean, that's just the derangement syndrome kicking in again, yet again. These individuals wanted to go after billionaires. Donald Trump, I mean, they almost specifically named him. They said we have the biggest of targets is what they said. Well, that's Donald Trump and other people around him. So no, these weren't hardcore right. These were hardcore left radicalized on the internet, young individuals, just kids who've been listening to the political rhetoric and taking up the message and acting on it. And we've seen this time and time again. What's scary is that out of these 20 individuals, only one of them needed to get through and commit mass murder. I mean, we've seen what can happen. You mentioned Las Vegas. One guy inflicted dozens and dozens of casualties.
Can I just ask you, Mr. Director?
So this was broad and deep.
Yes, we've got what, a dozen suspects that are still out there who have not been apprehended. How concerning is that?
Deeply concerning. What's deeply concerning also is that fifth column in the United States of sympathizers to terrorist organizations, to Hamas, to Iran. They're anti-American, they're anti-Trump, they're anything in America, the things that we stand for, our freedoms. Yeah. And they've been radicalized by teachers, by politicians, by so-called political leaders. These are people who pick up the message, and there are no boundaries, and they're acting on it. Okay. They don't have any life experiences, no perspectives. They're going out there with weapons. At all 5 locations where the arrest took place, they found caches of weapons and ammunition and tactical gear.
It's unbelievable. And this is happening now.
All they would have needed to commit mass murder.
Yeah, and it's happening now on a monthly basis. We now have one a month, and all it's going to take is one to get through the cracks for something terrible to happen. Chris Swecker, we appreciate you being here. Hope you'll come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.